Alrighty guys, at the we're out here chiseling at 4210, November 4th today, and had some rain 2 days ago, but we had about 4/10, but dried off enough. Kind of warm yesterday, got dried off enough where we can chisel again. So. Running in third over here, about 5.3 mile an hour, running about 11 inches deep. It's pulling pretty easy here, but I don't like to work it too terribly hard. To run up fourth direct, when I get up the rampas, might bump it up a little bit, go a little faster. Brothers in the Versatile there. Finish this field up and we'll head to the next field then. A little too wet to strip till. That's a little more finicky on how, it kind of depends on how wet it is. It doesn't, you can't just go out there and chisel whenever, or strip till whenever like you can when you're chiseling. You can't go chisel in the mud, but it's got to be a little drier. Same thing as that tractor, take 530s out here. Kind of looks like this next one's been worked, or next row, but it hadn't. The disc gang runs about 20 inches off of the shank, or a little wider, or 25 inches. And so it almost looks like the next shanks ran in the next row, but it hadn't. Cornhead. Kind of got in a tough spot there in the black ground. Like that, seeing that every now and then kind of pulls some clods up, and that, so that way you know you're breaking up the compaction. Not compaction everywhere, like right here is pretty good and broke up pretty loose, but there is spots. You get the compaction and it does break it up pretty well. disc and the plow and the soil finisher in that shed. Had a shed here. It was last winter. It blew down, and a real old shed, and had someone come in and clean it up. I might have said that already though in my first harvest video of the year. Can't remember. Old 3208 sounds pretty good. I'll let you tour here. Forgot my ion camera at home today, or I would have mounted it up on top of the cab with a magnet mount, but we'll see. They're getting pretty well wrapped up crops in the neighborhood. There's still several fields of beans scattered around. I know one BTO still has some corn. Kind of fog this morning. I'm sure the beans picked up a lot of moisture that were left, and good bean cutting weather. It's not cold today, but it ain't hot. At least there's a breeze blowing and the sun's shining. Rebuilt the cylinder on the other chisel plow this morning. They're a little bit of a pisser to get apart. Hardest part in anybody can rebuild cylinders. They're pretty easy to do. The hardest part, most of the trouble, is trying to figure out how to get the dang things apart. And if you even know how, even still getting them apart is kind of hard to do. Some of them have it's about the worst ones I've seen have you slide the cap in the end of it, rod in, and then you put and cap all in together. And then there's it's like an 1/8 inch piece of square rod, or it could be a round, that you kind of slide and just drive it in, and it kind of makes a circle around it, and it goes in a groove in the cylinder house, or the bore, and or barrel as they call it sometimes, and trying to get that out of there can sometimes be kind of hard. And this one had actually come loose, which I think is kind of why the cylinder started leaking, as the cap started moving in and out as you'd raise and lower the cylinder. And then it kind of, an aluminum cap and a steel housing, and it kind of beat the aluminum on it, and it expanded, and I had to drive the thing out of there. And I took the die grinder and cleaned it up, though, and it all slid back together pretty easy. Well, I got it back together and running again with it, so I'll get some more ion videos here, the ion camera, get some magnet mount videos here next week. Brother bought a truck, and so we're gonna go over and pick that up tomorrow, so won't get a lot done tomorrow. It's a couple 100 miles away, but that's the way it is. But it was what he wanted, so we went ahead and bought it. But anyway, have another chiseling video or two, and I'll probably about wrap up the fall work. So thanks for watching.